let's say if you are using the Arduino development board completely for your breadboard project. Now it's time to move to the main component part. You don't need the complete development board. You only need that Atmega 328 IC.
Hello, welcome to the episode 4 of the Belk IoT podcast. IoT Everything with me, Sai Prakash Belkeri. Okay, so in this episode 4, we'll be first doing a quick review of the new product that is recently launched, which is Raspberry Pi 400. And then we'll take up a quick question from one of our listeners, and then followed by we'll talk to our guest who is Shrey Sharma, and he'll be letting us know how to build your own IoT device from scratch. That is right from the phase of ideation to taking the product into the market. All the challenges that you face to build an IoT product will be discussed. So I'm sure you're excited. So the product that we are going to review today is my favorite, Raspberry Pi 400. The best part is the whole computer is within the keyboard. Yes, you heard it right. So the Raspberry Pi 400 is a new product line for Raspberry Pi, and the whole computer is within the keyboard. You just have to plug in a power cord and your monitor and a mouse to the keyboard, which is the RPI 400. I think it's the first time an IO device is being plugged into another IO device, isn't it? That's so cool. That's so cool. So the it comes in two different variants. That is, one is RPI 400. Now RPI is Raspberry Pi. So RPI 400 kit and RPI 400 standalone. Both RPI 400 kit basically consists few more extra things like a mouse, a HDMI cable, SD card, and a beginner's guide from official beginner's guide from Raspberry Pi, and a USB power supply. So let's quickly take a look at its technical specs. It basically has two USB 3.0 ports, one USB 2.0 port, two micro HDMI ports which are both of 4K monitor support, 1 gigabit Ethernet port. The power port is USB Type C, and obviously the 40 GPIO pins. This RPI 400 comes with a BCM 2711 quad-core Cortex 827 SoC, which is 64-bit, and the best part is it's clocked at 1.8 gigahertz rather than, when compared to RPI 4, it is at 1.5 gigahertz. And it is built in a very sleek model. So, and also this SoC is covered with a large piece of metal which acts as a great heat sink basically. And I was just going through a YouTube review, and that guy really ran some scripts on the heavy scripts on the SoC and tried to compare the temperatures. And despite without any fans or exhaust on this particular device, it was doing pretty great when compared to the other devices with having heat sinks and fans. So good job, Raspberry Foundation. And finally, the most important part of any device or a product is its pricing, and I feel it has done a great job. Now a disclaimer, at the time of recording this podcast, the product was still not available in India, and so I happened to reach out to one of the Raspberry Pi reseller, and they were kind to let me know the prices. So here they are. So the Raspberry Pi 400 will be available for around 5,500 to 5,700 rupees when compared to the RPI 4 of 4 GB RAM. Now even the RPI 400 is of 4 GB RAM. So it is around 4,500 to 5,200, around this range. So yeah, pretty good. And the RPI kit, which is RPI 400 kit that you're getting, is around 7,500. So if you put together RPI 4 with all the accessories that you're getting in that kit, it will cost you much higher than that, which is around 8,500 to 9,000 rupees roughly. So on both the levels, I must say that RBI has done very good pricing, because because of the fact that even this Raspberry Pi 400 is coming with a higher clock speed. So, and its performance is also very good. So I suggest you have to consider these if you're planning to buy them. All right, so moving on to the next section, which is Ask Belk IoT. This is a section where we answer all your questions, anything around IoT. So here is a question from one of our listeners.
Hey Sai Prakash, I'm Pratik Mokashi and I have a question related to IoT security. What security measures you recommend while making an IoT solution?
Yes, so that's a great and important question too. Thanks for bringing it up. There are few measures that you can take to make sure that your IoT implementations are very secure. The first one being, keep your all your softwares and patches all updated. Make sure the recent patches are updated on your devices, and also what your software implementations that you have. Second thing is that you have to take care of IoT security all the way of your IoT implementations. What I mean by that is you have to make sure that you plan your IoT security right from the scratch when you are building your product or any IoT solution. So make sure you follow all the best practices that are out there, so that you by default end up building a secure IoT solution. And the third and the final thing is that you have to make sure all your unnecessary ports, both hardware and software ports, are closed once your product is developed and ready for the production. So we often happen to create these ports in our softwares, which are the communication ports for different protocols, and also the hardware ports like USB port or any other ports just for debugging purposes. So it's often seen that these ports are left out without being properly closed, and that's where most of the IoT hijacks have been taken place. So that's the third thing. Make sure you close all your unnecessary ports. Adding to all this, I just wanted to mention that we'll soon have a guest that who will be coming onto our show in the upcoming episodes, who is a IoT security expert and will have much more points to make than these. So stay tuned for that. So Pratik, I really hope you like these suggestions, and I'm hoping that these suggestions will definitely make some difference to your IoT implementations. And for others, so if you have any other IoT related questions, please feel free to send it to us by logging on to belkiot.in/podcast and hit that orange record button. Finally, without much ado, let's call on our guest for today, who is Shrey Sharma from 30 Day Technologies Pvt Limited, to talk with us about how to build an IoT device from scratch. Hello, Shrey. Thanks a lot for coming on to my show. It's been such a pleasure. It's not been a much time that we met, and our relation has grown in such a way that you are today on my podcast to talk about a lot of things. So why don't you first introduce yourself to my audience?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Prakash. Thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast. We were planning for this thing, and now it is finally happening. So,
Yeah.
hello everyone. Myself Shrey, and I'm an embedded system developer working for 30 Days Technologies Private Limited. and I'm a part of this organization from the last 3 years, and I've been working on the technology of Internet of Things, where we were developing the complete home automation solution, and we started a brand with the name of Smarden, where we are doing these things. So our products and solutions are completely retrofit solutions. You don't have to rewire your home. You don't have to replace any existing appliance. All the things will be converted into smart things in your existing home. So this is one thing. And from the last 1 year, I've been training students on the technology of Internet of Things. So we started another brand by the name of IoTians, where we are providing webinars, workshops, and live trainings to the students. I also have some courses which are available on Udemy, LearnMall, IoTians, and other edtech platforms. So yeah, I'm pretty much into IoT from the last 3 years. Yeah,
Lot of things there, really good. So today let's talk about how do we, because you have a lot of experience in developing a product from scratch to, right, to a place where we can, it can be sent out to into the market. So
exactly.
let's talk about, everything. So the first thing that I want to know is, how do you get this idea basically that, this particular thing has to be built in this particular fashion, like, or how do you get an idea to build a product in the first place?
See, I'm not from a tier one city, so people here are not very much aware of the current technologies. So
Hmm.
when I was in the last year of my engineering, and I was working on these IoT things, and then I realized that home automation market in India is not very much famous, and there's a lot of scope. The market is currently open for the new products. So that's when I
Hmm.
realized, okay, let's try to build some solutions. I've seen that people were building switchboards at that time, smart switchboards. But again, those switchboards are like, you have to replace your existing switchboard in order to make your home a smart home. So that was the main reason I started developing these things. I want to build a solution where you don't need to replace anything. you know uh, you don't need to rewire anything. You don't need to replace your switchboard. So
Got it.
that's yeah. So from there only I started working on these things, and it really went well from there.
Hmm. But how do we get this idea basically that, in particular, like, say for example, your own example, that
Mhm.
we have this product of, that it has to be fit into the regular plug, and it has to automate the every appliance that is connected to it. That's, if correct me if I'm wrong here.
Mhm.
So it is, fitting into the regular switchboard, and
Exactly.
whatever you connect to that particular switchboard is a smart thing from
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's how it is, right? So how do you get this idea basically? How do you ideate these things in the first place?
See, I got this idea when I learned about the exact definition of IoT. Back in the day, I was just searching, and then that was the time when I was just tinkering with the things, and then I read that IoT is something where you convert your existing appliances into smart appliances. It's not like buying smart appliances. I've seen those ACs where you can convert a specific AC from your mobile device, but that is not the case. In IoT, you convert the existing things into the smart things with the help of some sensors and microcontrollers. So that thing really triggered me that, okay, now let's work on something where we can deploy something into the existing things and we can make them smart. So that's where the idea came from, and it was really the definition, by the way. So yeah, from that moment I was working in this direction, that okay, I need to convert the existing things into smart things. Second major point is I focused on like the target audience. See, if I talk about the people who are building their new houses, is
Hmm.
very less than the people who are ready to fit my solution into their existing home where they don't have to change anything. So if I talk about
Correct.
if I talk about that, out of 100%, there are 20 or maybe less than 20% who are shifting into new homes, or who are building their new homes. Rest of all
Mhm.
80% or more than 80% are, happy with their old homes, and they want a solution from where they can convert their existing things into smart things. So the market is currently open, the target audience is very huge. So according to business, it is great. Again, these are the things that triggered me. Okay, let's move into that direction, and let's work on these things only. Yeah.
Correct, correct, got it. So a small story here.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, or 2 days ago, I was talking to my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
He has this Geo phone, which is a
Mm-hmm.
normal phone, keypad phone,
Mm-hmm.
which Geo has launched. So he was using that thing. He uses that thing every day, and he listens to news. He listens to radio on that, or he
Mm-hmm.
watches. On that small screen, he watches to YouTube videos and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So he was watching some news in which they were talking about autonomous cars,
Mm-hmm.
and he saw that it really intrigued him. And later in the evening, when he was talking to me, he asked, like, in these news, they were telling about, in future cars would be driverless. They
Mm-hmm.
are, all talking bullshit and all. Then I said, no, that's really true. That's what we are doing. That, I mean, as a IoT developer, that's what I'm doing. That's what
Exactly.
my work is. He says, all day you are just sitting in front of computer. No, I then explained him how the things are, what are the
Mm-hmm.
complexities, in adapting a electric vehicle is, and all these
Exactly.
things.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
as part of that, I was also telling him that, the regular fueled vehicles, fossil fuel vehicles will not go away right away, but
Exactly.
it will take some time, because, like, if I buy a car today, it has a life of 15 to 20 years, and I will not discard it before that.
Exactly.
So then this idea triggered me, that why are we just focusing on manufacturing a new car rather than
Converting the existing ones.
converting the existing vehicles into
Exactly.
electric vehicle. There
Exactly.
should be a definitely there should be a way. And say, for example, if someone does that, they should be incentivized by government and these things. This is just an
Exactly.
idea for audience listening out there. If you have
Exactly.
any plans to get into a startup, this is a great idea I'm giving out for free. So yeah, that's the basic idea. So what essentially we are doing here is we are identifying a niche problem and trying to solve it.
Exactly.
Technology is always there, technologies keep changing, but what essentially we have to do is we have to find a niche problem and try to solve it. If you solve problem, there are a lot of good quotes out there. I can't remember it exactly, but if you solve others problem as your problem, they will definitely pay for that. And
Exactly.
you do not have to pay think for the money in that case.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's how it. Now let's say I have this good idea, and I have done my market research and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to try this concept. Like, I want to, say, for example, I want to try something, the very idea that I want to change a uh, normal car into a smart car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want to integrate few things, so that say, for example, I want to add a GPS tracker to this regular car. Let's for uh, for example, we'll think about Alto 800. Okay.
Okay.
uh, we want to convert that car into a very smart car. This is not a newly launched model, the old car. We want to make it a smart car. Then how do we do that? What are the first steps of making it, and then before going to the market?
Okay. So one thing that I would like to point out here regarding the idea, people generally focus on searching new ideas, unique ideas that that they think that they can develop a product. But
Hmm.
what I say is, you don't really need some unique ideas to develop a product.
Correct.
You need to solve a problem in a simplest way possible. Try to look for the solution which can fit for a general people, for a layman. And if that guy, if that person who is not at all associated with the technology is able
Hmm.
to adopt your solution, then you have great thing.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's all about like finding the simplest solution to
Mm-hmm.
the existing problem, and then focus on developing your complete product. So now let's talk about like how to, you have that idea, and now how to convert it into a product. So first things, start with the prototypes. Try to implement, try to, think about all the possible failures. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
did first time. I mean, like, how my project will end up in the dustbin. Try to figure out
Oh,
those things.
great.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
try to figure out those pain points that you have to go through basically, because no one will look at the positive side first. You you
Mm-hmm.
you make a product, you go to investor, you go to any other person, they will not find their its features. They will always find,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it is missing this thing, it is missing this thing. So
Correct, correct. I
yeah,
experienced that thing a lot of times. Whenever
exactly.
I, develop something out of
Mhm.
scratch and I go and pitch it to someone,
Exactly.
that's definitely how products are evaluated. Yeah.
Exactly,
Sorry. Go
exactly.
ahead.
Yeah. So first, well, I'm not sure about the car idea, but yeah, the things that I have developed, I can start with them. So if I
Mm-hmm.
talk about my product, what I've developed, so I started with the simple breadboard and Arduino, that Arduino board. First, I try to build your complete solution on a breadboard. If
Mm-hmm.
let's not generalize this thing for all the people. It's for IoT, and it is like developing your IoT product from scratch. So
Mm-hmm.
first try to implement those things in and try to make a prototype. What we call is a POC, proof of concept. So try to build
Got
that
it.
thing. Yeah. So try to
Mm-hmm.
build that thing, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't look fine, or if it doesn't look very good in presentation. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing that someone will notice is what exactly it is solving. What are the problems that you are solving with that product of yours? So I'll now again, if you are developing an electronic product or an IoT product, there are two things. One is hardware and another one is software. So
Got
no
it.
doubt, hardware is really very hard, and it takes a lot of time to develop a hardware. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be mentally prepared for that. One thing is
Okay.
that I would like to point out here: the more general solution you want to develop, like if your target audience is very huge and the product that you are going to build is a general product, there
Mm-hmm.
are a lot of difficulties that you have to face. Developing a customized solution is pretty much easier than that. So if I talk about,
Why is that?
see, if I want to build a solution for you, specifically for you,
Mm-hmm.
or a particular set of people, I know that you guys are having these things in common. So let's say if I talk about, I'm going to build the same thing, I'm going to build a smart home automation system for your home only. Then I know that you
Mm-hmm.
are getting this 220 volts of power supply. Let's just consider on one case only. You are getting this 240 watt 230 or 240 volts power supply. Then I will design the power supply, or I will buy any power supply from the market, and I'll give it to you. But if I talk about in general, that I have to make a solution uh, for the whole nation, then I have to think about the minimum power that we have in the India, then maximum how it goes, and then we must consider about the voltage spikes. Sometimes it goes up to 440 volts. Then we have to take care about that also, and sometimes we work with the inverters and DG sets also. So let's say if I talk about the generator set, gen sets, sometimes these gen sets gave 440 volts, which completely burst up the product. So the more you generalize your product, the more you have to work on that for the betterment of the product.
Ah, got it. Got
Yeah.
it.
So this is the main thing. So try to figure out your target audience first, for whom you are developing your complete product.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, just note out all the points that, okay, these are going to be the features. and this is the problem that my product is going to solve. Then work
Mm-hmm.
accordingly, and try to look for solution, try to look for permanent solution, as well as these things, these IoT devices. One thing is the software part, which can be handled remotely from anywhere. Second one is the software, the firmware, which goes behind which goes inside your board. So try to make a generalized firmware for that too. So that is the whole thing, like start developing your prototype, proof of concept, and try to make it better and better. It will take, obviously it will take time, according to the target audience. Again, if I would say only the wi-fi part, where the user needs to connect to the wi-fi, the product needs a wi-fi connection. It took me around 1 month to figure out a perfect solution. Currently, what other companies are doing, they are doing like they are giving a reset button to their IoT devices, so that the user can reset the appliance with the help of that reset button, and then it can connect to the another Wi-Fi network. So in
Mm-hmm.
my case, if the product is going behind the switchboard, I'm not able to reset it. So
Correct. Got it.
I have to figure out a solution, and I came up with a solution. If you switch on the switch number 1, 7, or 8 times, you can reset the complete device. So these are the
Oh,
solutions. So these are the solutions that you need to look for while developing a complete product. If it is a general product, you have to really work hard to make it viable for the market.
got it.
Yeah,
So, before those are great insights actually, because I never thought from this perspective that the more generic the product is, the more tougher it is to build,
exactly, exactly,
because it has to cater the needs, and it has to also factor in the different problems that show up in different ways with
exactly,
all the different users.
exactly.
So that's a great insight there. So, but say for example, now I am in my ideation stage and I want to build out the product. So should I all first start doing all these things, like checking what things are right, what things might go right or wrong, or
Mhm.
should I first try out the idea that I have on the
Mhm.
off the shelf devices like Arduino? Like before that, also, can you also elaborate what are the off the shelf devices, and few examples for them also?
Okay, so once you build a complete solution on a breadboard, so then after you can move to test PCBs. Well, in that case, try to look for, try to replace the Arduino. I'm not using exactly the Arduino here. So try to replace these microcontrollers with some heavy microcontrollers, or you can use STM also. But if your application is a very general purpose application, then Arduino will work as well. Then uh, let's say if you are using the Arduino development board completely for your breadboard project. Now it's time to move to the main component part. You don't need the complete development board, you only need that Atmega 328 IC. So try to shrink your circuit. So the only difficulty that I faced, I would not say the only difficulty, but yeah, that the main difficulty that I faced while developing the complete product is the size. It really matters, because I need to fit the complete circuit behind the board, so it has to be very compact, it has to be very small, so that it can go behind the existing ones. Now, from the breadboard to the test PCB, you will see a lot of changes in the circuit as well. Your
Mhm.
main components getting shrinked, and then you will be soldering the complete solution. Then uh, then maybe you can go with the through hole. There are two types, by the way, the through hole or SMD. So first, try to build a through hole solution. I mean, like, where you can just solder the
What is this
components.
through hole? Sorry,
Yeah,
the general purpose circuit,
exactly.
breadboard.
Yeah, it is there are two types of PCBs: the through hole PCB and SMD PCB. So the through hole PCB is where you can use the normal components, use the regular component, the resistors and the capacitors that we use, that which has two
Ah,
ends.
the
Yeah,
brown boards with all these holes and all.
exactly. That was the general purpose PCB. But that is the second part. Go like from breadboard to the general purpose PCB, and after developing that general purpose PCB, you can shift to a complete ready to use PCB, but again, it has to be a through hole PCB. uh, Through hole will give you the debugging options. What I would say, like, if any of the things are not working perfectly, you can, solder, desolder it, or remove it, replace it with the new
Got it.
component. So yeah,
Got it.
that you can do with the, in the next stage. And now try it, it's now it is the time where you can, uh, I mean, like, fit the product into a real life scenario where you can test your complete product, and the testing should be done properly for, like. And what I did is, I inserted my complete prototype behind a switchboard and keep it running without any, fluctuations, or without anything, for a time of like 8 months. I didn't replace
Oh,
it, so it was working perfectly. For the first 8 months, we tried the software part. We tried to tangle that complete product with the manual switching part as well. And we just we were just testing it completely, because
okay.
we
Got it.
want, yeah,
So you had a rigorous testing behind it. Hmm.
exactly, because we don't want it to, blast, or to, have issues at the part of end customer. So we need to
Got
take
it.
care of that. So
Hmm.
again, you have to, the main issue that I think arises during any electronic component is the power supply. So you if you are searching for, like, if you are searching for something where you can, invest more, so it has to be your power supply. Just take care of the power supply, because in India we are not, distributing the uniform power supply to each and every place. So this is the very important issue. Again,
Hmm.
microcontrollers, coding, and you can do these things, but this power factor and this electricity part, it is not in your hands. So try to make a stable solution for that. Don't just go for the cheap and existing ones.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I have these things ready in my place, how do I make up these things to be ready for the market? Like, do you first give it, like, all the marketing strategies, like you give it for free to for the other users to use it, or you know
Hmm.
uh, you do a rigorous testing, as you were telling, you used it for 8 months.
Yeah.
So what are the other things that that has to be taken into consideration before we put it out into
See,
market?
okay, so there are a lot of things that you need to do before putting out the complete product in the market. See, the presentation is very important. So in my case, if the product is like, if you are at this stage where you have a complete PCB, and I'm not talking about the test PCB with the holes. I'm just talking about the PCB with, either it can be a through hole PCB, the PCB that looks like, okay, it is going to be a product. So that
Hmm.
PCB. So at that stage, the best part is to collaborate with a technology partner, is to collaborate with some, some other firms, so that you can verify your what you have done so far. In my case, I've collaborated with a firm, again, for the testing part and for the certification. This thing is another important thing. If you are developing an electronic product, you need to go through some PCB lab testing. You need to go through a lot of different types of testing. So lab test is there, the voltage test is there, the heat test is there, microwave test is there. So these tests are done by some external agents, and these the companies who do these things will also give you a test report of the complete PCBs. So when you are ready with your solution, I mean, you cannot do all the things all alone. You have to be
Okay.
associate, you have to associate with different firms for the different things. So this testing
Hmm.
part, what you can do, see, no matter how good you are doing, there are something
Hmm.
that is not in your hand, like this testing part. You can test it whether it is working perfectly or not. You can only test the working, you cannot test each and every parameter. So for these
Correct.
parameters, there are special people, there are special companies who do these testings. So you need to send your product to them. You need a complete verification. So I've
Mhm.
associated with this company where I send our products, and after the testing part is done, they gave us the complete PCB reports, and they guide us to replace some of the components with these components. So it takes a lot. So once if I talk about my first PCB, it was containing somewhat around 20 to 30 components only. But when I made it an actual product, uh, the list of the components that I used in a single product is 90 plus. So that is the
Oh,
reason. Yeah, so that
that's
is
a
the
huge
reason.
difference.
Exactly, that you have to do. You have to go through the process, uh, because again, if you are going to make a general solution, you have to satisfy each and every condition from top to bottom, and those
Mhm.
conditions can be anything, so you have to prepare for that. So again, the uh, where we use those 90 components, it's all about filtering and passing the actual current, actual voltage to the microcontroller, and maintaining each and everything, regulating each and everything. So these are very important parts that you need to take care while developing your own electronic IoT product. The software part is, I'm not talking about the software part because I'm more concerned towards the hardware part. Maybe we can talk
Mhm.
about it, but again, software parts, uh, you need to develop same thing. If you are generalizing the thing at the software end also, you have to take care about the databases, about the data that is being communicated from your IoT device to the end gateway or to the cloud where you are keeping all these things. You have
Mhm.
to one important thing while developing an IoT software is the latency. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. So when your device is giving you the data, it should be very quick. The delay must not be there. So we had a hard time minimizing this delay, and now it's working absolutely fine, and we are not experiencing any delay till now. So yeah,
So
it's
it
very important to minimize the
Yeah,
delay and all.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah, please.
So it all takes optimizing the code, optimizing the hardware.
Exactly.
Also in this process, I'm sure the cost is also kept in mind, that the cost has to be cut down as much as possible. I'm sure, like, even I was doing a project when I was back in college,
Mm-hmm.
so I could always refer to this particular project whenever
Mm-hmm.
because I got a lot of experience with that project. Is that there was a uh, company that walked into a college and said, if you
Mm-hmm.
can build a IoT device for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is basically a manhole cover. Let me give you the whole story. It is basically a manhole cover
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing company. So what they wanted is, they wanted some sensor, some device which can sense the sewage levels, because manhole covers you are used both for the you know the manholes, basically, and also the overhead tanks and the underhead tanks.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically wanted some devices which can be you know which are not integrated into that thing, but can be bought separately and fitted into any kind of manhole covers.
Mm-hmm.
And they should basically sense the sewage level, and also
Yeah.
the, or
Yeah.
if it is kept in a over a tank, then the water level. And it can also be integrated with other systems, like
Mm-hmm.
say for example, if it is a sewage level and it is for implementing a smart city kind of project,
Mm-hmm.
then it should be connected with the systems of the government, so
Mm-hmm.
that
Exactly.
an alert is triggered or a ticket is raised.
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
not sure if a lot of
Yeah.
governments work on ticket based things,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, at least a alert could be sent to one of the
Exactly.
officials.
Exactly.
Or if it is over a tank, it can automatically turn off the motor, or
Mm-hmm.
the water pump.
Exactly. So
So
yeah.
in this kind of
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Yeah. Please.
so
Please.
in this kind of venture, I got to learn a lot. Like, I started with Arduino first, and then
Mm-hmm.
uh, I kind of gave a demo, and then
Mm-hmm.
he was not happy with the pricing. Then I thought, like, this is a huge circuit and I just need this chipset. So what I did is, I used this Arduino, I dumped the code, I you know uh, because Arduino is open source, you can do
Mm-hmm.
anything with that. So I just pulled out the Atmega Atmega 328P,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The chip, and just soldered it on a general purpose PCB, and then attached whatever components that I have. So that drastically reduced the price. Like
Exactly.
the Arduino itself is around 400 rupees, and then the Atmega 328P chip, we get it for 90 to 100 rupees. So that's a huge shift in the price.
Exactly.
So that's how I learned a lot of things by trying out in my college, of bringing a IoT device from cost purpose perspective, from optimization. For, again, there was a huge question that was raised around how would the power source for this device would be selected. Like, is it a solar, or is it a uh, you know direct electricity from the switchboard, or is it any other power source, or is it a battery? Then I
Exactly.
said, no, it is definitely, it should be solar if it is over a tank, and if it is not in over a tank, then it should be a kind of direct supply. Then he was asking for battery. Then battery, when we bring in the battery also has different things, like what will be the life of the device
Exactly.
for each
Exactly.
battery.
Exactly. Exactly.
So based on to increase the life, you have to bring down the number of iterations. You have to send the device into sleep mode multiple
Exactly.
times, so that
Exactly.
it checks things only once in a while, and
Mm-hmm.
all these things. So I definitely agree with you that it is not a single try and it is a hit. It is definitely multiple iterations. It takes a long time, basically, to build a IoT hardware device rather than a software. Because even I am from electronics background, I love doing these things. uh, Apart from softwares are really also good. They also need a lot of optimizations. The only best thing I feel about software is that there are a lot of libraries that are already there, and you just have to use them, and things are
Yeah.
ready almost.
Exactly. Exactly.
You just have to optimize your code, and you have to make sure you choose the right technology in softwares. I've seen this, using the right technology really plays a vital role.
Exactly.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, and if you have any other points here.
No, exactly. I totally agree with you. I mean, like, for IoT itself, like, let's not go to the technology directly, but I'll give you a small example. We have databases, and we have like different databases, SQL and some other databases. But for IoT, we specifically prefer the real-time ones. Those databases which support real-time operations. So yeah, it's just a normal example. Now let's come to the very important part. I think. Which is the pricing itself, which is the pricing and how to finally launch your product into the market. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing that I would like to share is the components pricing. People will get the component online
Ah.
and they can build a prototype. It's very easy, but again,
Mm-hmm.
this thing will not work. I mean, for the production level, it will not work. There are different levels, and you have to set your capex for different levels. Like there is this R&D department where you have to constantly work on these things to get better and better. And this is the only department that demands for a lot of money. So
Mm-hmm.
if
Get
you
it.
are, yeah, it totally depends on what product you are developing. But if it is as simple as home automation, if I talk about home automation, it is very common right now. And if it is as simple as home automation, it your 8 to 9 lakhs are like gone. It's in the R&D cost, and 8 to 9 lakhs, it's a very small amount that I'm saying for like for
Mm-hmm.
complete development, where you are testing your own products, where you are making your own products from the scratch. So yeah, now let's come back to the components part. For the prototypes only, you cannot rely on the components for the on the Chinese
Mm-hmm.
components or the components that are available in the local market. This is the main issue that we faced.
Atmanirbhar Bharat, is it? Oh, sorry,
uh,
I'm really sorry to interrupt
no,
you. Sorry.
no, it's not like you cannot get the components from China and then you can make your product. till date there are so many things that are that we are importing from China, and we are somehow dependent on it. So yeah, electronics industry is very much dependent on China. And if I talk about home automation specifically, there are more than 90% of the companies in India which are exporting the complete product from the China as well. And if I talk about the tier one companies, I'll not say any names here, but if I'm talking about tier one companies, you know who are in the tier one. So they are doing exactly the same thing.
Mhm.
They are importing the products from China itself. One example. I would not say example. I'd say like judge yourself. Go open Amazon and try to search for smart plug. Find the similar products. They are all from China, and you know which company is supplying which product. So that is one thing
And
that
that's
you can
where
do.
I clap for you. I really clap for you because you know people like you are very much needed in India right now. We really need to bring in this vibe of Atmanirbhar Bharat, so
Exactly.
that we build our own devices and start also not only use it for ourselves but start exporting.
Exactly. So
Correct. So
yes.
sorry to interrupt
No, no, no
your
issues.
flow. Let's go back to the pricing.
Yeah. So yeah, components part is very much important. See, once you have made the circuit, the PCB is there with you. Now let's move on to the part where you have tied up with an existing firm, or where you are going from like test boards or through whole PCB to a final product where everything is surface mounted. So the size of the PCB shrinks
Mhm,
itself. You are now using the complete modules, and each and everything is perfect. But now this is the testing part, and which
mhm,
is very important. You have the prototyping with you, and it is the stage where you need to import the actual components actual components from the actual manufacturers. Like if you need a specific IC from Samsung, that it has to be from Samsung. You cannot
mhm,
rely on any other third party manufacturer. Reason being, I have to make sure one of my things are working absolutely fine. Because if I talk about the prototype, let's say I have made any mistakes in the circuit, then how will I test it?
mhm,
If I use any Chinese component, I will not able to clarify that whether the component is bad or my PCB is bad. So for the prototype only, you need to import the components directly from DigiKey or Mouser. If you are making electronic products, again use the verified components only that are available on DigiKey and Mouser. They are well-known company for that, and you will get the original product from there. See, if your
mhm,
components are original, then you are sure at one end that okay, my components are properly aligned and they are completely original, and I don't have to think about that. If there is any issue, I know that this is a issue in my circuit, then I have to
mhm,
rectify it, then I have to change it. Once the prototype is fully final, then you can move to the production department, which is again another thing. I mean, like all the things, the cost optimization and all the other things, uh, they are the part of the production department. Cost optimization and the BOM optimization. BOM we call the bill of material. Bill of material is the list of the components that are required to make your make your complete product. So this is
mhm.
the part where once you have your prototype which is fully verified, fully tested, then it is the optimization which really kicks in. So in the optimization, you need to think whether you really need this component, and if it doesn't matter if you replace it, or you can replace it with some cheaper ones, or you can replace it, or you can just remove it. So it is that time when your product is tested and verified. Now you move to the optimization part, where you can finally decide to go into the production level. Now again, if I talk about the production, it doesn't work like you import the component from one place and then gave it to the production department, or the basically I'll tell you how production works. First of all, try to search for a single source, single stop solution. So there are three things. One is procurement, second one is assembly, and third one is making the PCBs itself. So
Okay.
first one is like where you need to procure the components. Now if you are in the production stage and you know that okay, my circuit is working perfectly fine, prototype is completely tested, I can go with the uh, you know uh, Chinese components or some other low grade components as well to optimize the cost of the product. And the cost of the product will also depend on the number of units you are manufacturing. If you are
Mm-hmm.
going into production department, then either go for 500 pieces or 1000 pieces. It will optimize the cost of overall product. So
Okay.
yeah, so then again,
Economies of scale, basically.
exactly. So then again, you need to procure the components. Now it's up to you, either you are using DGK or Mauser. Again, if you are using very high end components, obviously the product cost will go up. So I'll tell you how you can do that. Only for the power supply, uh, go for the components that are perfectly tested and perfectly verified. For the other things which are working on low voltages like 3.3 volt in our case, if we are working on microcontrollers like ESP32, so if you are working on these type of microcontrollers, then where the voltage is typically low, then you can move to some other like Chinese vendors also, where you can use other components or other locally available components. Then there is this part where you have to manufacture the PCB, then component procurement, then the assembly part. Now you have the products ready. I'll not say the products, I'll say the PCBs, the assembled PCBs.
Mm-hmm.
Now the main part, which is very irritating, finding a perfect outer body for your product. This is
Ah,
indeed,
3D
yeah,
printing pitches in now.
exactly. This is a very crucial, and this defines what your product will look like. And it is a
Mm-hmm.
very hectic part also. You need to search for the makers, like mold makers or die makers, what we call. So there are again two steps. If you think that your product is like similar to some other products, then you
Mm-hmm.
can go for the existing housing. because
Okay.
let's say if you are developing something really unique and something really new, then the one thing that you need to do for making the outer covering is, first part is 3D printing. You need to make a complete 3D print of the design of the complete product. Then you need to make a mold for that. Then again, after the mold is there, you have your die, and then you go with the production part where you can design the outer casing of the product. Okay, so there is a catch in this one also. If you are making unique product, then after PCB you can design the outer casing. But if you think that your product is kind of similar to other products, let's say if we talk about the smart plug is a very common product. And what you can do is, if you think that you are make if your product is quite similar to those which are available in the market, try to search for the mold makers who actually make the mold for the existing smart plug.
Mm-hmm.
Take out their mold and design your PCB according to the mold. This is the one thing that I did, which really went wrong. I made the PCBs, then I was searching for the mold because my product is quite similar with the other products. And then I figured out, okay, I've made a blunder now, because I made the PCBs and then I was searching for the molds, and my PCBs aren't fitting in that particular mold. So
Ah.
I have to rephrase each and everything. I have to search for the mold, then I have to remake the complete PCB. And the reason behind that is, if you go for own mold manufacturing, it will take 3 months minimum. It will take around 3 months, and it will cost you around 3 lakhs, 3 to 4 lakhs for a mold.
Oh.
Yeah, for a mold.
Okay.
And again, that only depends on how much product you are, how much is your production rate. So if you are developing if you are if you are needing like thousands and more than 1,000 and 5,000 10,000 units, and your market is stable, then you can maybe go for your own mold. But if you are not not very much sure about the market condition, and you are still experimenting with the product, I will suggest you to search for an existing mold first. So that is another big thing that we must need to take care of.
So basically, we first have to figure out if our model is a SUV or a hatchback or a
Exactly,
sedan, and then design
exactly.
our engine accordingly.
Exactly. So yeah.
Okay, so a lot of things really, it's I didn't know that, because I never made a complete end-to-end product for mark,
Mm-hmm.
to be taken to the market. It's really a good experience,
Mm-hmm.
to to do things from scratch. I did it to a small extent, and I already shared that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it really takes a lot of efforts, and
Yeah,
a lot of rigorous testing, and especially with hardware, because you can't afford to uh, go wrong.
exactly.
If it
Uh,
goes
yeah.
wrong, then you'd be in a huge trouble, basically.
Sorry to cut you off, but again, as I said, there are two things: hardware and software. Once your hardware is fixed, you cannot spend 7 or 8 lakhs again and again, but you can experiment with the software. So I'll ask the audience to focus more on the hardware part. Try to make it as perfect as you can,
Hmm.
because also one important thing while developing the software, either for the firmware part and either for the software, try to think of all the things that can happen in the next 5 years. This is really important. I mean,
Ah,
as for the software perspective, you must open the gates for the further developments in your existing product. So one good example that I'd like to share, what I'm developing right now, we are actually working on another product where we are using the ESP32 boards. So in our products we are just opening a gateway so that it can interact with our future products. I mean, we are just deploying the gateways in our existing products so that in future, if we make anything, so the doors
mhm.
are open for the existing ones. So
Got it.
yeah, so you have to think in that direction also. So like,
Also, just to like give an other perspective, like today's phones, although
mhm,
5G network is not ready, the
mhm.
phones that are coming out today
Exactly,
are 5G ready. So
exactly,
that's how,
exactly,
because you buy a phone today and it would be lasting for 3 or 4 years. At least in my
exactly,
case, I use a phone for 3 or 4 years. I don't know
exactly,
what
exactly,
others do,
exactly, exactly,
but they are 5G ready. So
exactly.
that's how the things have to be,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just
Correct. Got it.
focus on the hardware part more and try to again generalize the things and try to make them very simpler and plug and play types for the user, so that it doesn't have to you don't have to give constant support to each and everyone. Also one trick, I'd say trick, to save the cost in the production, uh, while designing your mold. So it
Mhm.
totally it also depends on the color of the product you are developing. It might
Is it?
sound weird, yeah, I might sound weird. So let's say if your product is of white color, the plastic body of your product is white color, it will cost you more. Reason: white is like, if it is bright white or it's completely white and there is this off white, the difference in the quality of plastic, you can use low grade plastic for the black product, but you cannot use the low grade plastic for the white product. If you have made high grade, if you have used high grade plastic for your product, you have to maintain that in white color, but you can cut down the cost if you are making it in black. The users
Oh
will
my
not able
God!
to
Like,
users will not able to
that's
find.
too complex, man.
Exactly. So
I hope, at least, because the Smarden logo is white and black. I hope you will not overprice because of just the white color.
no, 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 no. Will not overprice. Our solutions are affordable. Yeah.
Great. So, if any was, just the last question here, if
Mhm.
any of us want to buy your product, when it will be available for us, and
Mhm.
on what channels can we buy it?
Just simply go to the website and you can see the products now. We are actually moving to the offline market. We are not very much into the online market right now. We are planning strategies to launch it for the offline market, because
Hmm.
if I talk about the general market, they are not very much aware of these things, the home automation and the smart things. So I would like to expand our network in the offline state. So yeah, online it is available on www.smartin.in. You can always check out the products there. You can read the complete brochure details about the products, and yeah, It will be available on Flipkart, Amazon, and other third-party services. But again, the overall plan is to tie up with the uh, builders and start with the retail market. Another thing that we are doing, like if you are thinking of having your own brand, if you are thinking of developing your own business in the home automation industry, we are providing continuous support, and we are doing the B2B tie-ups, in which we will be giving you the product with your name. We call it white labeling, and where we will be your OEM partner, which means original electronic manufacturer. So we will be the OEM,
Okay.
and we will supply you all the products with your name. But again, there has to be some quantity, and there has to be some kind of agreement between us, and the application will be on your name as well. So these are the things. But again, we are open for business for like B2B and B2C.
Okay, so like if in B2B case you can partner with some real estate guy, so that
Yeah,
he brands it by himself, and he puts it in his new
exactly,
flats
exactly,
or houses
exactly.
he's built.
This is one thing for like for an individual. If we want to start their own lineup of smart home automation, or if the existing market, if someone from existing market whose LEDs or whose fans are already there in the market, who wants to pitch in with the home automation segment, we are helping them also. So it's more like as I've told you, if you search for smart plug, you will see a number of players who are importing from China. So we are making the traders here that they don't need to import from China. We are already doing the work here, and you guys can directly take the product from here, paste your logo over it, and then you can supply it with your name. So we are doing that also.
Great, great. All right, that was a very extensive thing that you extensive level of knowledge that you gave in here. Thanks a lot for
Thank you
them,
so much.
Shrey.
Thank you.
It was really pleasure to chat with you about all these things. It's really inspiring, and what you have been doing all these days with Smarden, and we really hope to use your products in the future.
Sure.
I'll be one of your first buyers. I'll fix it in all my uh,
Sure, sure.
switchboards. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Thanks a lot for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Any final notes that you want to add?
uh, I don't know. I've shared as much as I could, and like maybe you can drop my LinkedIn handle with this podcast, so that if someone needs any help regarding any products or IoT specifically, they can directly contact me.
Great, great. Thanks a lot. I'll definitely do that. I'll link down Shrey Sharma's LinkedIn URL in the show notes, so
Sure.
that you can directly contact him. He's very active on LinkedIn. So am I. You can also contact me. I'm kidding
Yeah,
here,
sure.
but uh, that's how we met basically. Shrey and I,
Exactly.
I was checking, my LinkedIn post, and I suddenly saw this post by Shrey, that he was operating the smart devices, and I thought, let me get his backstory on my podcast. And then it's been a while, that it's been more than 3 months that we connected by now. But
Exactly.
in this small time of relation, we have built a great relation, great brotherhood between us, and I hope this will go a long
Same.
way.
Sure, sure. Likewise.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for coming. Have a
Thank you
great
so
day.
much. Thank you
Bye.
so much, Prakash. Have a great day. Bye bye.
All right. That brings us to the end of this podcast episode. Thanks a lot for making it till the end. And please make sure you subscribe or follow where you get your podcast from. That will encourage me a lot to bring more such podcasts around IoT. Until then, keep doing awesome as always.